some of our competitors, they're not even selling the tissue. They're like, oh, we'll give you an isolation. And we're like, well, why can't I get it? And they're like, well, because it's such short demand right now, it's more profitable for us to isolate it and sell you the body.